Hey guys, what's up? It's Tony here, and today we're going to be turning an image from this to this using Photoshop and using simple colour correction tools. Now the first thing you need to know when doing colour correction is that colour correction, the way that I do it right now, might not necessarily work on your image. It's a basic rough guide, but it's a lot of tweaking to adapt to your image. Now if you want to try this image as a tutorial, as a quick tester to see how it all works, then I will leave the link in the description. I actually got it from Tumblr, not Tumblr, Flickr, sorry, from a person called Raymond LaRousse, so thank you very much. If you want the image taken down, if you want the video taken down, just let me know and I'll get rid of it and I'll find another picture. But yeah, as you can see, it's, as a basic image, as a stock image, it is a lovely picture. But the problem is with it is that it is very flat and it's very bright. So if you look in the left hand corner, it just doesn't seem dark enough. As with here, you really get the feel that the trees are kind of leaning over and there's a lot of shadow and a lot of depth to the image. So let's get started, shall we? So what we're going to do is we're going to open and we're going to find the image. Mine's here. I had to save it in Tumblr so I can save the image. So there we go, here we have our basic image. Just double click just to make it an editable layer. Then what we're going to do is, the first things first, is we're going to click the little circle with the black and white thingies in it and we're going to go black and white. Now what this will do, obviously, is turn your image black and white, but the reason why we're doing this is so that we can pick out the dark, mid and the lighter tones of the image, and then we can start playing around with them in the actual image and making the colours darker and lighter where needed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go change the layer style and we're going to go to soft light. As you can see already, it's done a little bit of work for us, but it's not quite how I would have it. So if you look at the sky, it looks a bit too light and a little bit too bright for my liking. So yeah, we're going to start tweaking around. As you can see, obviously the different colours affect the different parts of the picture. So as you can see, the reds in particular does this little track here. Now it's on the left hand side of the screen and you can kind of tell that the light, that's the sun, and where the light's coming from is behind those trees, so it wouldn't be as bright as it would be. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make it darker. Now if you can see there, it went from that all the way down, and it edits these parts of the tree line as well. It just brings it out, gives it a little bit more depth, a little bit more realism, photorealism. And as you can see, the yellow actually plays around with the trees. So we're going to make those, just bring it down a little bit. So there we go. So far we've done that. The trees are just a little bit darker, a little bit more green, and just look a little bit more realistic. Now, surprisingly, green, of all the colours that are on this picture, green is the most predominant one. But here it doesn't seem to do anything, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it as minus 200, just leave it at that. Now cyan is obviously going to be the sky, parts of the sky. Now, as I said before, we want to make the sky more blue, so we're going to get rid of these light blues and things and just make that darker. Now as you can see, it did a little bit but not quite enough, so we're going to play around with this blue. Now we can go all the way down, but I feel it doesn't give it that, it just doesn't look quite right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to up it a little bit. Battle Bay will do, minus 160. Now in the image, obviously there's no pinks, there's no real magentas or anything, so we're just going to leave that as minus 200. Now as you can see, we've already made a big impact on the image. But there's more to come. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to curves. Now, I love curves. It's the quickest way to really edit a picture, and some people have a go if you're using it, I don't know. Just some people prefer it, some people don't. And the way it works is the far left hand side, this end, is the darker colours and the darker areas, sorry. And this side are the lighter colours, as you can see by these little pointer arrow things they show. So if I was to mess around with the lighter areas, you bring it up, it makes the lighter areas lighter. Bring it down, it makes the lighter areas darker. And then if I did one down here, it would make the darker areas if I bring it up lighter, and it will make the darker areas darker if I bring it down. Now what I do is it follows the basic basic straight line really, from one to the other. So, but as you can see from this little graph in the background, that it's the darks are really light, and it just doesn't feel quite right. So what we're going to do is you click on this part, the centre of the bottom left hand grid as it were, and we're just going to bring it down a tiny bit, nothing too major, because we just want to give the dark areas just a little bit more darker, just to really make them stand out. And then to even that out, we're going to just make the lighter areas just a little lighter, so you can see that as it is. Right, yeah, sorry about that, Granddad's calling me. So as you can see, we've already, if you look especially here and here, you'll see that it gets a lot darker. You can see that the lighter areas get lighter, and I'm breaking things, and you can see that the green in the trees, it looks a bit more realistic in the sense that you really get a depth to it, and it's a lot more greener, a lot more vibrant as a picture. So then what we do is we go into red. Oh, you can see there's a lot of red used in this image, so that'll be things like the ground, these bits of foliage, things like that. So we're just going to do the same. Just click here and around here. Now this is a rough guide. Obviously you'll be doing it how you want, being quick. Obviously because it's a tutorial, it's just a rough guide and it's just a quick thing. There's a lot more greens in here as well. So we're just going to do the same again. And as you can see, it also adds a nice, I find that it adds a slight purpley effect to the image if you do it my way, which I think is a really nice little bit of colour correction there. Now, as you can see by the truck, it just seems a bit too dark now. The rest of the image looks fine, right here, but where it's in the light, you can see that it's exposed by the light behind it. It just doesn't look quite right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a pen, and with the curves layer selected, we're just going to start drawing over the truck. Now as you can see, it's basically erasing the curves that are going on here and bringing it back to the standard image of the truck. Just a quick jobby, so there we go. And as you can see, these areas such as the metal bits are a lot lighter and they just look a little bit more finite. Then what you can do is go to exposure and just, now you can see that it just makes the image really dark if you mess around with the gamma, so lighter, darker, things like that. So what I do is I just bring it up to about 0.9 and it just makes the dark areas just that little bit more darker, and I feel it just gives it that little bit more depth and just makes the image a lot crisper and a lot nicer without overdoing it. So that's pretty much it for the image. If you look here, in fact this image is a little bit darker, but I actually prefer this image to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope it helped. If you have any more ideas or tutorials needed, just give me message me or whatever, and I will try and give you a hand. So thank you very much, and peace out.